Shalom, Apostle Tahar coming back at you with this truth. And I'm going to entitle this video, I Will Stir Up the Medes Against Them. And this is from Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17. And I'm going to read from verse 17 to the end of the chapter, which is all the way down to verse 22. Because I noticed in one of the videos I made recently, there was a back and forth with two individuals, and one said that the Medes represent the people of Iran, or Iran as a whole. And even though the Medes, if you go to an ancient biblical map, you will see that the Medes are located where the north part of Iran is today. But the Medes in Isaiah 13 and 17 represent the Russians. The Russians are also known as Gog and Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. And that represents, I would say, southwest of Russia itself. Because when the prophets receive this information that later became a prophecy that is getting ready to come to pass, you had no Russia, current Russia today. You had the lower parts of Russia, Gog and Magog. It expanded to what is now called Russia today. That's why we refer to Gog and Magog as Russia. The Medes also represent Russia. All right. Now I'm going to click on the word. I'll click on 17. I'm sorry, 17 verse, and I'm going to click on the word Medes, which is H4074, and I'm going to show you that these are not the people of Iran. The people of Iran, or the Iranians, go back to the ancient Persians, which are Elam, which are the so-called, what you call the so-called East Indians and Pakistanis today. They're from that same line of Elam. The people of Iran are not Arabs. They're Elamites. When you go into the history of the Medo-Persian Empire, which secular scholars even agree that there was a vast empire before Alexander the Greek came into power. Actually, it was Alexander that took down the Medo-Persian Empire. But the Medo-Persian Empire consisted of two nations. The Medes represented, the ancient Medes represented one of the sons of Japhet. And the Persians, as I said, were of Elam. So I clicked on the word Mede, and the word in the Hebrew is Madayah. Now it says, according to this, it says Media, or Medes, or Madai, means middle land. It says a people descended from the son of Japhet, and who inhabited the territory of Media. And that's currently, if you go to an ancient map, an ancient biblical map, Media, or the word Medes on the map is Upper Iran, which is south of the Caspian Sea. It says here B, land inhabited by the descendants of Japhet, located northwest of Persia, which is Iran today, proper, south and southwest of the Caspian Sea, east of Armenia and Assyria, and west and northwest of the Great Salt Desert of Iram. So, I mean, you can go back to Genesis, the 10th chapter, which we refer to as the Table of Nations, and it'll mention the Medes as one of the actual sons of Japhet. Now we know the sons of Japhet were dark-skinned people. Now today we refer to also Gog and Magog. Also, Gog goes back to one of the sons of Japhet. So we know that Gog, Magog, Meshech, Tubal, Mediah, or the Medes, were actually dark-skinned people that came from Japhet. But when you go to these scriptures and you read about the Medes, Gog and Magog in prophecy, such as the book of Daniel and Isaiah, well, specifically the book of Isaiah and the book of Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, it's referring to these Edomites that broke off from another group of Edomites and they moved further north, because these people came out of between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. Right in the middle of those two bodies of water, you will find the Caucasus Mountains. And you had some Edomites stay down in Mount Seir when you go into the biblical history. So you had a split right there. So these Europeans that are referred to as Russians, they came from the Caucasus Mountains. And you had the so-called Jew, they came from Mount Seir. Well, you also go back to the Kazakhs, which they came out of the Caucasus Mountain. Later in history, they labeled themselves as Jews. So you had two different groups, a split among Esau. All right. So like I said, anytime you see the word Medes in particularly in Isaiah, the 13th chapter, it's referring to Russia. And north of that is Meshech, Tubal, Gog, and Magog. Okay? So now let's go back to Isaiah itself. Isaiah 13 and 17. Because the real power that's going to take Babylon the Great down is going to be, for the most part, the so-called Russians, the former Soviet Union, the former Soviet Union, I'll say. Now it says in 17, I'm going to read it again. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes, the Russians, against them. But they will be stirred up by the fact that the U.S. will try to occupy and take over Iran. Now, when you do research, you'll find out that Russia has a lot invested in Iran, Syria, and those neighboring countries, Libya. So that's the thing that's going to kick this war off. And you see it already taking place with the fact that the Russian military attacked ISIL and the rebels of Syria that broke off from the president of Syria, which is Assad. Which they're being, and it's in the news, it's in the open. You know, it's no secret that the U.S. is supplying weaponry and funds to help these rebels to take down Syria, because now they're talking about Assad as a butcher, he's a bad guy, and that's what they always do. But now that Russia's involved, now there's a standoff. Okay? It says 17, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Because in their mind, it tells you in Ezekiel 38 that the Most High shall put hooks in their jaws, in their jaw. It's talking about Russia. So the Most High is going to make Russia hate Babylon the Great. 18. Their bows, which are their ICBM missiles, also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. So they're not going to care about little babies dying over here in America. Their goal is to destroy America. And ultimately, all of the allies of the U.S. will shoot their missiles on the U.S. So NATO will be broken up. And the NATO nations will attack America simultaneously, while the Russians and the Iranians and possibly the Chinese. That's why it says in the book of Revelation, the 9th chapter, it speaks about 200,000. It's not talking about angels, it's talking about missiles. And the number is, when you add it up, it's 200 million missiles. And it says in the scripture that John heard the number. So you got people out here saying that that's talking about angels. It's not talking about angels, it's talking about missiles. 19. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, talking about modern Babylon or the daughter of Babylon, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And you can go back to I believe it's Genesis the 19th chapter, and that's when it says how Abraham stood afar off and saw the smoke rise from those wicked cities. There were 5 of them all together. Sodom and Gomorrah were chief cities. 20. It shall never be inhabited. In other words, this place is never going to be built up again. So this crap that Donald Trump is saying he wants to make America great again, America had its run. Babylon is done. It says, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arab pitch tent there. Now back in the ancient world, you had Ishmaelites make money in ancient Babylon, but the same thing applies today. Most of these businesses are owned by Arabs, descendants of Ishmaelites.